All right, we're back with another Pick'em video. It is Friday, February 6th in the NBA. We got 6 games today, and I got some plays that I'm liking, and that's what we're going to run through today. So if that sounds cool, go and leave the video a like, comment something down below, subscribe if you are new. All those good things help YouTube push this thing out a little bit more. And first thing first, we got to get into the recap of yesterday's video picks, like we always do, and then we'll hop into the plays for today. And it was a profitable day, so 0.21 units of profit, 2-2 day, but we only had 0.75 units on Dylan Harper. Let's go through these losses real quick because Lauri Markkanen was a big question mark. Let me know if you guys understand why. He only played 23 minutes yesterday. He had 18 points in those 23 minutes, miraculously. He wasn't playing bad. Isaiah Collier got 48 minutes once again in that game, so Will Hardy wasn't trying to rest these guys and spread minutes out. Ace Bailey played 40 minutes too, so I have no idea why Lauri Markkanen played 23 minutes. It's a mystery to me, but that was annoying, and obviously didn't get there. Jalen Smith came through, even though Anthony Simons, Jaden Ivey all made their debuts yesterday. Gershon Yabusele, a lot of guards, but Gershon played maybe some center minutes, some power forward minutes for sure. He's a big body. VJ Edgecombe, rebounds. This was an amazing read. I don't even know. It was the last game of the night, so I didn't see because he had 5 rebounds in the first quarter, which was awesome. He ended the game with 10 rebounds. So if you did ladder that one up, that would have been crazy. I'm pretty sure I said I don't want to ladder this one up because I'll probably get 5 or 6. But it was a great read. I knew the rebound chances were there for plus 105. Take it every single time. And then Dylan Harper, very, very close. He had 11 points and assists. He had 9 points in that game. And he shot like 3 of 7. So, get one more basket to fall in the fourth quarter. He shot like 3 times in the fourth quarter before getting pulled. That's kind of why it was a 0.75 unit play. So we'll take the profitable day. Not the best in the world. Just, still waiting for that 3-in-1 day or the 4-0 sweep or whatever that we got really accustomed to in January. Because again, I'll keep flexing it. We did pretty dang well in January. So yeah, profitable day. Let's try to do it again. And it starts with the first play. So jumping into Props Madness to start talking about our first play, it's going to be Kawhi Leonard. Now, his line's very high. It's at 39.5. But you can also see, I talk about this a lot, his floor is relatively high too. He hasn't had less than 30 PRA in a lot of these games recently. Now, he just played his first game after the Clippers made all their moves. Zubac didn't play in that game. He's now traded as well. He was injured. But look at this team. Just go through the team and kind of see what we got going on here. We'll look at the stats in a second here. But we got Chris Dunn, Kobe Sanders, Kawhi, Brooke Lopez, and John Collins. And then, the guys off the bench, Derrick Jones, good to see him back. Jordan Miller can put the ball in the basket. So unless they pull the plug on Kawhi's minutes, which I don't really assume is going to happen, I would think that Kawhi goes out there and balls out today against the Kings. This isn't the Cavs. I don't think they're going to lose by 33. This is a 3.5-point spread in favor of the Clippers. And then remember, they don't have an incentive to lose this year because they don't even have their own first-round pick. So losing doesn't really do anything for them. It actually kind of hurts them unless they tank all the way down to the bottom and their pick lies between 1 through 4, then they keep it. It's protected, 1 through 4, and I think 10 through 30. The Thunder will get it if it falls between 5 and 9. But they also just made a trade for a pick. So this is the only way I think this loses is if Kawhi doesn't play, more than 30 minutes, or if he's going to, not play more than 30 minutes, we'll see the hit rate drop dramatically. Even in, he can still get there. But I don't know. I like this play a lot. I think he's obviously the focal point of the offense. The other glaring thing is the games without Zubac. He's had some massive games without Big Zoo, including a game against the Kings without Big Zoo. So obviously this is very nice to see. His rebounding probably goes up. He was also getting a lot of time in these games. I don't know if we can expect 37 minutes or something like that from Kawhi in this game. I can't really tell the direction of the Clippers because, again, you don't want to lose because you're not going to catch the worst teams in the league, I don't think, if you're the Clippers, which means you're probably going to land in that 5 through 9 unless you continue your pace or win a few more games here. You will eventually get some, help if Darius Garland returns. Benedict Matherin's a pretty good player. Isaiah Jackson, those guys will help for sure. And, with Kawhi on a team with a solid team around him, you can do some damage. But again, they're 23 and 27. So it's not like they're the worst team. Look at the Kings. They're 12 and 40. So I don't think they're going to get that 1 through 4 pick, which means you probably want to play a little bit better so you don't get that 5 through 9 pick. I know that could be a little bit confusing, but that's kind of what I'm thinking about here. And then the last thing I'll point out is Kawhi had a 41% usage rate in this game against the Cavs, which is absolutely insane. They lost that game by 33 points. He only played 27 minutes, but on the court, he had a 41% usage rate. And that makes a whole lot of sense for me, especially going out, with this team that he's got going on today. Matherin's not playing. Darius Garland's not playing. Isaiah Jackson's not playing. So he's going to do everything he can, when he's on the floor. So if we're going to see a 35% plus usage rate, which by the way, we've seen a bunch of times this year already, if I can get it perfectly, 35% plus. Now he's over this in 7-11 games. And by the way, 2 of these were blowouts. They won this game by 37. They lost this game by 37. So if he's going to get 28 plus minutes, which again, I expect today, now we're over this in 7 of 8 games. So I think Kawhi balls out today. Hopefully doesn't get less minutes than he should, but there's no incentive for Kawhi to get less minutes. If he's feeling good, which he has been, I expect him to go out there and ball out. And I didn't even mention all the matchup and filters here that we got. Transition, free throws, isolation, pick and roll, ball handling, whatever it is. Kawhi can do some damage against this Kings team. The Kings suck, so I don't expect the Clippers to get blown out because they have the best player out there for sure. And if it is a blowout, I don't. Both these teams are pretty dang bad. Hopefully, it stays within that 3.5 point spread. Kawhi gets the 30 plus minutes. And he hoops. Moving to the next play, I'm going to Andrew Nembhard, 25.5 points and assists, -118 on DraftKings. Now, this guy's already over in 60% of games. He's had some duds here, one against the Rockets. That's tough defense overall. But now he gets the Bucks, who have been pretty dang bad at defending the 3-point line. That's 40% of his shots. Pick and roll ball handling is a little bit stronger here, but spot up situations, free throws, all look pretty dang good, and that's good for his assist potential because Nembhard is a guy that can get 10 plus assists in a game. But also want to look at these guys' stats the last 10 games, just curious. It's all pretty much the same. But yeah, players going over their lines, which I like to see. Sumu, Derrick White, Simons, Carrington, a lot of guys going over. What is that number? 73% of the last 15 guards have gone over. And the big news here is we just talked about Ben McMatherin's other team, the Clippers, now. And they just made a trade, and Ben McMatherin's a Clipper. He's not going to be in this game. He's over in 10 of 14 games. Nembhard is without Ben McMatherin. That just means more scoring potential, more usage rate in those games without a high volume scorer like Ben McMatherin is. And the guy they got in return, Zubac, who would be a good assist guy for Nembhard, is not playing in this game. So we don't have to worry about any sort of changes in the offense with Big Zoo coming into town. He will not make his debut yet today. I also want to see the usage rate just because we talked about that with Kawhi. 20, it's about the same without Ben McMatherin, but he just handles a little bit more scoring. I would assume, his points go up 3.6, his assists go up 1.2. Oh, it even shows the usage rate. That's kind of cool. So pretty much everything going up. He gets a 4.7 points and assists boost without Ben McMatherin on the floor. And again, that's just the ball in his hands a little bit more. And now we got a pretty good matchup for him to have a bounce back spot here. So I'm liking Nembhard, 25.5 points and assists. He's been one of my favorite guys to bet on. His lines are very, I don't want to say predictable, but they've been kind to us in the past. Against these, matchups, no Matherin here in like a good spot up spot for him. Like he can get some spot up opportunities. 19% of his points come from spot ups. And then he can also get guys involved in the spot ups. He can get assists from that. So in these games without Matherin, and in games that the defense is bad to spot up shooting, this is a 28th ranked defense against spot up shooting. Favorable matchups, he's over in 6 of 7 games, averaging 28.6 points assists, 20.6 points alone. So this is a guy that, he can get this in points alone, but he can dime up for sure too. And today's a pretty good matchup. So liking Nembhard, going to stick with him. He's been good to us in the past, and we'll ride with him again today with, a couple trades happening and probably some higher usage, more minutes, more touches. And jumping into play number 3, it's going to be Derrick White over his 9.5 rebounds and assist line, -120 on BetMGM. Already over this in 65% of games. Head-to-head looks great over in both games as well. Rebound chances 10, potential assists 11, so right on track as that. And then pretty much similar in the same game. So I like to see that history. I like to see what he's been doing. And again, I talked about this with Kawhi, a very high floor, about a 7 rebound and assist floor, whereas his ceiling, can go much higher than that. Now, why do I like this line? Well, first of all, this is a perfect matchup. Pace is great, so they rank number 1 in the pace. The Celtics don't usually play very fast, but going up against faster teams, favorable matchups here, 63.2% hit rate, so it's not like it drops because of the pace, and that makes sense. More opportunities for rebounds, more opportunities for assists there. Next thing I'll point to is what do they give up? Well, they give up a lot of assists, and they give up a lot of rebounds because of that. And then positionally, not a guy I typically look at for position, but I know some people will like it. 88.2% positional, ranked number 30th. This is a favorable matchup, and he gets rebounds all over the place and assists against teams like this. So I'm liking to see that. He's actually better with Jaylen Brown and Pritchard in the lineup. I guess 65% still. There's no Anthony Simons. I don't think we've seen many games without Anthony Simons. Okay, we've had one game with Pritchard, with Brown. Without Anthony Simons, he still got there with 10, but that's not too crazy. I just like to see he's going over this much more. The rebounds allowed and assists allowed are higher. Pretty much anything you look at, teams that give up a lot of assists, he's over this more. Teams that give up more rebounds, he's over this more. I like to see the pace, he's over this more, or like pretty much the same. So I like all the stuff. It's all checking out. It's got a low floor and a higher ceiling. This is a great play, 9.5. If it does go to 10.5, which a play like this probably will shift, I still like it. Look at the assists allowed. That's a 68% in games that favor a lot of assists. A lot of rebounds, 57%. So he's still hitting this. So if you're getting some pretty decent, plus money or something at 10.5, I don't mind going to that either. But obviously, I'm going to take the 9.5. It's a minus 120 price tag. I don't mind a little bit of juice here on a play that I'm really liking. And if anyone's worried about the Vucevic, trade and anything changing because of that, I think that will pretty much only help a guy like Derrick White. Vucevic, a great rebound boxer outer. He's, averages around 9 rebounds per game. Queta averages a similar amount like that. But Vucevic, I'd say definitely a better offensive player than a guy like Queta. And as of right now, they do have Queta playing more minutes off the bench. We don't know what's going to happen. We'll see what Joe Mazzulla does there. But in terms of the offensive stuff, Vucevic a better guy to get assists to. He's an easier matchup to get assists to. He's a good player offensively. Whereas rebounding, he's a good boxer outer. He can grab some, but I also think he can take a guy like Bam Adebayo or something out of rebounding position. A guy like Derrick White can go out, grab a defensive rebound, maybe even more effectively. So to be totally honest, it doesn't matter to me. Vucevic coming in here, I don't think it affects Derrick White's rebounds assist line all too much. Those are 3 picks I got down. We'll go over the recap real quick. But first, if you guys are not on Pickett, I mentioned it every single video, go out there and get on it. It's a free bet tracker for you guys to use. If you want to be, winning or losing your plays, you want to know what's happening. When you sign up using my code RichPicks, you get $3 or $100 when you sync your first sports book. It can be PrizePicks, it can be Underdog, it can be DraftKings, BetMGM, whatever you bet on, they have the tracking for it, and it's going to tell you if you're winning that day, week, month, year, all time, and it's, again, free for you guys to use. So go in there, use code RichPicks, get the $300, sync in that first sports book, and track all your plays. You want to know you're winning, you're losing, and if you need to change some things up, or if you got a pretty good recipe. So recap time, we have 3 plays. I got Kawhi Leonard to pretty much handle all of the offense, 39.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Hopefully his minutes aren't cut for some reason. I don't see any reason for them to be cut, and this is a game that shouldn't be a blowout either way, honestly. So 39.5 PRA. Andrew Nembhard over his points and assists. This dude can get this in points alone, but he can also chip in with 10 assists on any given night. So minus 118, a pretty good matchup as well. No Matherin. And then Derrick White over his rebounds and assists. We just talked about him. 9.5, minus 120. If it goes to 10.5 and you're getting plus money, I would still go to it. Vucevic, not too much of a factor in terms of Derrick White's rebounds assists, I don't think. He's a guy that can get rebounds for sure, but it can also box out pretty damn well and put Derrick White into, honestly, a better position to get some rebounds. And then offensively, he can be a guy to get some easy assists too. So those are 3 plays. Again, only 6 games. I am going to run through them real quick, talk about the projected minutes, all the injury news, any sort of trade indications and things like that. So if you want to stick around for that, I appreciate it. But if you got this far, please go ahead and like the video, comment something down below. It does tell YouTube to push this video out a little bit more. And again, you guys know that my views are way down from what they used to be. So I'm trying to work my way back up. And anyone that supports me is liking the video, commenting, and I really appreciate that. Of course, if you're new, subscribe. Let them know. So let's run through this 6-game slate we got going on. It will be Miami and Boston to start things off at 7:30 Eastern. No Jason Tatum. I don't even know who John Tonje is, but he's out. Projected minutes for these guys. We just talked about this team, but Vucevic projected for 21 minutes. He is projected to make his debut for the Celtics. We'll see what happens here. If Queta plays more, if Vucevic plays more, if they split minutes. I'm not going to either one of these guys, which is why I went to Derrick White, because I do think this high pace is a good way to attack some overs. For the Miami Heat, still no Terry Rozier, who is in jail, and then Tyler Hero continues to be out. Jaime Jaquez gets a lot of bench minutes. I don't know. I couldn't think of it. Bench minutes here, 28 projected. But we're going to get Bam for a lot of minutes. We're going to get Wiggs. We're going to get Powell. Powell Larson's played himself into a decent role. And Davion Mitchell. All these guys going to get the main allotted minutes for their teams. Then we got the Knicks and the Detroit Pistons. 1.5 point spread. Battle of the East. I'll put Boston there too, but battle of one of the best player teams in the East. Jalen Brunson is the only guy pretty much on the team that's not questionable, other than Mikal Bridges, who never misses a game. OG Anunoby probable. Towns is questionable. Josh Hart is questionable. Jose Alvarado is questionable. So a team that I'm not really attacking until I know what's going to happen with all these guys. But there's the projected minutes as of right now. And then for the Detroit Pistons side of things, Jalen Duren's questionable. and Tobias Harris also questionable. So this could be a great game to bet on, great game to watch, but too many injury implications that I don't know the answers to just yet to attack it, to be totally honest. Indiana and Milwaukee, both these teams pretty beat up. They've kind of gutted their teams as well. But Indiana has now Ivica Zubac. He will not play today, like I mentioned. We're already going to a guy like Andrew Nembhard. These are the projected minutes as of right now. We've seen this team play with all these guys pretty much the entire season. But it's a 1.5 point spread in favor of Milwaukee, who will still be without Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'd like to see Bobby Portis get back because I think he's in a really good double-double spot, and I really want to attack that play once he plays. But we'll see if he actually goes out there and plays today. But projected minutes for the Bucks is going to be right here. Obviously, guys that are getting a big usage boost without Giannis is going to be a guy like Ryan Rollins. But just keep in mind, KPJ is back in the lineup, and his minutes will start to go up as well. Kuzma has also been surprisingly very good. Moving on to the Pelicans and the Minnesota Timberwolves, I was looking at Anthony Edwards under 29.5 points here just because this is 9.5 point spread. There's definitely some blow-up potential, but there's some injury news. Is Julius Randle going to play? That would change things up a whole lot. I would assume it could come in. If this is, a 15-point game or so, I'd think they would probably play him a little bit more just to get him more, used to the offense and things like that because he will be a big player for this team eventually, but I want to know if he's going to be playing or not. But here's the projected minutes as of right now for the Pelicans side of things. We got Derek Queen, Zion, Sadiq Bey. All these guys are going to get a lot of minutes. Looks like Yves Missi and Derek Queen going back to that maybe more of a split-minute scenario. But there's no Jose Alvarado for this team anymore. He wasn't really playing anyway. He was hurt. But yeah, we know we get for this team. Trey Murphy just went off recently, but just be wary of the blowout just because the Pelicans seem like they're good, and then they just sometimes aren't and get destroyed. Memphis and Portland. We got a whole bunch of injuries for Memphis. This is a team I really wanted to attack, but we do have some question marks of guys that they recently traded for that might end up playing, like a guy like Taylor Hendricks. He could come in, play a lot of center minutes, and start grabbing some rebounds. Now, Cam Spencer has been the guy I keep looking to. I would look at his assists again just because he didn't get them last time, and now Ty Jerome's not here in the lineup. No Santi Aldama, no Ty Jerome. So Cam Spencer's assists, I'm very interested in that. I honestly want to check it right now because I looked at the price earlier, and I thought it was pretty dang good. So it looks like it's 6.5 at, it's very favored on the over at 6.5 now. If you remember, we got this at 5.5 the other day. It's something I'm considering though, like a 7.5 line or even like 10 plus assists. Definitely something I'm considering. He will be the main point guard on this team and the focal point running that offense. Gigi Jackson's also been good. But there's some question marks and some guys that could come in there and cut into some of these guys' minutes. But I think Cam Spencer as the point guard is pretty much locked in. But again, this team definitely interests me. Gigi Jackson points or even his threes at 1.5 I was looking at. Cedric Coward, he's going to get some time in the court, maybe some rebounds for him. But just an interesting one overall. And the Portland Trailblazers are 8.5 point favorites as well. But we don't know if we're going to get Denny. Denny's been in and out in the lineup here. So the projected minutes for them, I'd want to know if their best player is playing or not. Then we got the Clippers and the Sacramento Kings. We talked about our boy Kawhi Leonard in this thing. Darius Garland, Isaiah Jackson, Ben McMathurin, all weird to see on the Clippers now, but we're not going to see him tonight. John Collins could get a boost in usage and all that stuff, but Kawhi should be the main guy. Chris Dunn, I was looking at his PRA at like 16.5. He's a dude that does not get a lot of stats, to be totally honest, but there's not a whole lot of talent today to be played. A guy like Jordan Miller, maybe they run him out a little bit more. I just don't know the direction that this Clippers team is going. We talked all about it when we talked about Kawhi, so I want to get a few more games on our belt before we can really dive into that, but I know one thing, Kawhi's going to have a high usage when he's on the court. Then the Kings side of things, Sabonis questionable as of right now. He's been playing, projected for 28 minutes. DeAndre Hunter, his stock was very high in the Hawks at one point. He's projected for 25 minutes here. That stock has definitely dropped like a lot of these other players on the Kings. Zach LaVine has been horrible recently. So just not a team that I'm super excited to put down some units on. And again, the only thing I really know in this game is that Kawhi's going to get a lot of usage. And he's the best player in the court by far tonight. And then lastly, the Detroit Pistons are the only team on a back-to-back. Cade Cunningham was questionable yesterday. He did end up playing, so he is on a back-to-back. We'll see if he pops up in the injury report. But anyone that didn't play, I don't think Tobias Harris played. I think he got ruled out, so he'll probably go out there and play. But that will do it for me. Thank you guys for watching. Like always, 6-game slate, kind of smaller than we've been used to recently because we've been getting huge slates pretty much every single night. Trade deadline was crazy, the whole bunch of trades, and we're going to get the All-Star break soon. But we're going to cruise until then, and let me know what you guys want in terms of content during the All-Star break because they're not going to be NBA games. Maybe we shift to hockey. Maybe we do other stuff. Maybe I'd give you guys some betting tips, do a Props Madness breakdown, do an odds jam breakdown in terms of some of the tools I use. So let me know, but I appreciate everyone watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Friday.